Welcome to Another Triathlon Podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is Another Triathlon Podcast. Enjoy the ride.
Hello, Triathlon World. Jenna-Caer here, your host of Another Triathlon Podcast, your go-to place for all things swim, bike, and run. As always, joined by my co-host, the ever-dynamic Fede, and our resident triathlon enthusiast, Josh. We are thrilled to be back to chat through another action-packed week of triathlon news. Even more exciting, though, we also have pro athlete Frederic Funk joining us. Stay tuned. We will get all of his thoughts ahead of his race at the PTO US Open this weekend, as he takes on the athletes you might have heard of with Jan Frodeno and Christian Blumenfeld. We have so much going on this week. As always, we will dive into your training and racing questions, talk about what we've been up to, jump into our WTF moment of the week and social media posts. But wait, there's more. We're going to entangle all of the race results. We have to talk about Zippergate. We'll jump into what our thoughts are about that. And of course, jump into the PTO US Open race predictions. There's been a couple last minute dropouts and a few more additions made, which are going to change the direction of the race. It is going to be such a good one. But let's get this show on the road. Fede, Josh, what's new with you guys?
Training's been going well. Been doing quite a bit of threshold work on the bike. I really have a love-hate relationship with threshold work, but at every session at the end, I feel very good about myself. So yeah, just chipping away and keeping the run volume up, preparing for my next race. So excited to talk about all the racing that happened over the last weekend and the PTO US Open and everything.
There is so much going on, and I definitely hear you on that love-hate with the threshold. It feels good after, but during it's just suffering.
Oh, yeah, it's horrible. It's like having your hand on the stove and you feel it burning, but you can't quite move it away. It's horrible.
Oh, that is such a good description of it.
But that dopamine at the end.
Exactly.
That doesn't hurt. Makes you forget a little bit, so you're willing to go back and suffer a little bit more next time, thankfully.
Absolutely.
How about you, Josh? What's been going on in your world?
So this week was kind of a little bit of a taper week on the bike, just to get my legs fresh for a 5K road race that I did, that I had found locally. And it was fun to get prepared, feel fresh. I did a lot of swimming and running this week, but at different paces and not really pushing it too much. So went into the race ready to go early, 7:00. Got there and warmed up, but it was warm. It was hot. It was humid. Which, hey, it could be on race day. So I just took it with a grain of salt, and I'm like, look, I might not be able to break 20 like I was hoping. But I went out and ran my race. Probably went out a little too hot, but I ran the first mile in the pace that I needed to run. So felt good. But, I mean, I was sweating just standing waiting for the race to start after doing a mile warm-up. It was like you just couldn't fight the heat no matter what. So it was good to get through it and finish third in my age group, and felt good to get to a line. And my wife ran for the first time, and she's been 3.5 months after ACL. So it was just really cool to be out there with watching her finish and get back to doing it. And it made me realize how much I want to keep running and getting faster. So it's like, there should be nobody in front of me. Not yet. So I'm getting there.
Fair enough. No, that's just it. Keep chipping away and getting those times down. It's just a matter of time and training, and it sounds like you're getting it in and getting it done. So the results will absolutely follow.
Absolutely. I'm going to get a little bit more heat training this week too, because I'm heading down to Florida on Wednesday. So I have to figure out my first over 3-hour run on Sunday in the heat of Florida. So I'm going to have to play around with some training scheduling this week.
Start early.
Exactly.
Very early.
Exactly. That's a must on vacation anyways, right? Can't really cut into the family time. So we don't get to do this too often. So when we do, I just want to make sure we get my training in and then go enjoy the day.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then I guess on my front, I had a race this weekend and some of it didn't entirely go to plan, but the result wasn't too bad. Did Ironman Calgary 70.3. And let me say, when I signed up for this race, the forecast was like 22 degrees, which is like 70 degrees and kind of cloudy. It ended up being 32, which is 90, and sunny, which was not in the plan, but thankfully I'd been doing some heat training. Yeah, had, you know what, one of those days where it was a solid day out there and the result was good. I ended up getting second in my age group and fifth overall, which was decent, and qualified for the 70.3 World Championships for Taupo. So stoked to have that done early. But the race was just kind of not quite what I wanted. So I've mentioned, I think on here before that I'm an adult onset swimmer. I can't say that for the life of me, but started learning how to swim for triathlon. And it's always been definitely the weakest for me. And for a lot of years, I'd have panic attacks in the water every time I got into open water. But I haven't had one for a while here. And I guess I wasn't expecting it to end up having a panic attack like about 500-600 meters into the swim. And it was a case of like, I'm going along and going pretty good. And then all of a sudden you can't breathe. You feel this pressure on your chest. You can't catch your breath. And there was a minute there where I'm like, I'm not going to finish this race. Like my day's over. I just cannot catch my breath. And it is the worst feeling in there. But one thing I always tell athletes to do if they're having a really tough run is try counting your steps, because you can't have that negative internal dialogue at the same time as you're counting. And it just kind of helps you find that rhythm again. So I tried that in the swim, and it definitely eventually helped me kind of calm down. I had to stop completely for a bit just to try to get back to be able to breathe, which is kind of important, you know. It finally calmed me down enough, and then took the rest of the swim super easy just to make sure I didn't get panicky again in there, which was unfortunate. So came out of the water in like 46th place, which was a bit of catching up to do at the end. I mean, it's fun passing people all day, but at the same time, it's like, this would be so much easier if I wasn't this far back.
Yeah.
Imagine what we could do if we could all swim.
Right? And I ended up losing out on the win by 35 seconds. So close in there. It was
that you didn't know, right? You didn't know how close you were?
Yeah, I was kind of counting people who were in front of me once we got on the run, and I missed one woman out there, and I thought I was in fourth and like fourth overall, and I figured I'm in the front of my age group at this point, right? And apparently the lady in front of me, I figured she was on her first lap when I saw her there, but nope, she was on the second lap. So unfortunately, it was kind of like, oh, the next person's like 5 minutes ahead of me, not going to catch them. The person behind me, they're a couple minutes behind, so I'll just kind of cruise it in. And lesson learned, never back off, because, that gets me. I'm a little bit competitive. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So that one is like, oh, so close.
So do you think that like in the swim, because I mean, I think this is something for beginner swimmers to learn from too. Is that like always been something that's been hard for you when you get into a swim? And maybe, I know it's been a little while since you've had one of those panic attacks, but as you've gotten more competitive, do you see it becoming maybe something that is bothering you more because you're like, oh, I'm not swimming as fast as I want to be to compete, and you're like, oh, I'm already behind? Is that a factor, or is it just straight up it happens when you're in the water sometimes?
You know, I think it's a case of I got more used to it when I was racing triathlons more regularly and just kind of doing it all the time. My last triathlon was Chattanooga, and my last 70.3 before that was 2 years ago. So I think I've been doing one open water swim a year in races, which is not
in race conditions, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of know better. And Chattanooga was spread out enough where you're just swimming in a straight line. Once you kind of get around those boys and people are kicking and hitting you and you're swallowing water and stuff, that's where it's definitely tougher. But it's, you know, one of those things where do as I say, not as I do, that I tell my athletes, get in the open water more regularly, get in it with other people. And I just haven't done any open water swimming this year with other people, and like one open water session myself. So it was definitely a good reminder that for it to feel okay, it's like anything. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And I just haven't put in the time. So that was totally on me.
And you still had a decent swim. I mean, even with the stop and getting your composure back, I mean, you didn't lose the race, and you were able to get that. So it's a good story for others to remember too. It's like just compose yourself if you need to. Listen to your body for a second and get everything under control. I backstroke if I have to every once in a while just to catch my breath. I mean, that's one of my little tricks. I mean, I haven't stopped, but I've backstroked, and that gets me back, gets my breathing under control.
Yeah, whatever happens. And that's, I think I mentioned a social media post too, and you brought it up, Josh, is just triathlon, especially if you get half Ironman, it's a long day. So don't let it get into your head, right? Like if I had like totally panicked and like, hey, I'm done, like I'm getting second place and got a world champs qualification, where for a second there, I didn't think I was going to finish at all. So if things do go wrong in those long distance races, you have the time to collect yourself, to refocus, and just try to still have a good day. So don't let those things kind of mess with your head and have you totally mentally check out, because that's when the race day is over. If you're just like, okay, I'm done.
And because she is going to that World Championships, everyone needs to share this podcast. Make sure your friends know about it so we can get some more listeners and more downloads. And then maybe we'll be there live podcasting.
There we go.
Oh, we're all going to be there.
I like it. We will harass all of the pros for you guys. So, like Josh, share it, like it, give us a review on there so that we can get the team out there. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's actually already gearing up to look pretty good. I'm going to head down to Ironman Canada in Penticton. And definitely more and more pros seem to be heading over there too. So I'm going to be harassing people to chat with them there as well. Just kind of shove a microphone in their face and say, hey, will you talk to me? We'll see how it goes.
Triathletes like to talk.
Exactly.
Usually when you have a camera and a microphone, people will say yes to anything. So then we have that going on for us.
Exactly. Just be nice about it. We'll see what they say. Oh, man. Well, let's jump into a few questions. I actually did a 70.3 pacing webinar last week to just give some tips on how to pace your race day. But I had some interesting questions from the audience there that I thought I would share and get your guys' takes as well. So we had a lot, actually. So a lot of these were about biking, because Ironman Calgary is a race that a lot of first timers do. And this bike course was kind of bizarre. It's at 4,000 feet of elevation, so there's still some elevation there, and it has a lot of 90-degree turns downhill and a lot of 180s, and you do 2 loops of that. So it's definitely a course where you can't quite get the rhythm. It made a lot of people kind of more nervous about bike handling skills, obviously.
Yeah.
So we will get some tips here. So first one here, any strategies? I get so nervous riding in the hard winds. What can I do to make it a little bit easier? So let's start with you, Fede. You've always got the aerodynamics and the bike facts down here. What are some tips to just help ride better in the wind and maybe feel a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, well, first things first, I would say is take a look at what depth of rims you're running. Like usually lighter riders are more prone to get more blown over with the wind. And if you have the luxury of having, multiple rim depths, I would go shallow. Like take me, for example, I'm 61 kg, so that's like 137 pounds. So the wind gets me every single time. And if I know I'm racing a windy course, I go 60 millimeters in front, and obviously a disc, because wind doesn't usually moves you around when you're having like a disc wheel on the back, or like a super deep section wheel on the back. It's just the front end, the one that's more prone to being a little more wiggly. That's one thing. Another thing would be is check your position. Sometimes positions are a bit more unstable from people to people, so just make sure you're comfortable in the aero position. And last tip I want to give is, it's going to sound a little counterintuitive, but just let the wind take you. Like you need a super strong gust of wind to knock you over your bike. So just trying to stay relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are not tense. Make sure you're not holding on to the aero bars super hard. And if you feel like the the wind is going to blow you, or the gust is coming, just let it take you and then regroup. And one thing is, don't stop pedaling, because tension, if you keep tension on the pedals, you're going to, yeah, of course you're going to go faster, one, but then it's going to make the bike more stable. So if you stop pedaling and you're gripping the aero bar super hard, and then the wind gets you, you're going to feel like you're going to fall over. So try to stay relaxed, keep pedaling, look to at your wheel choices, and yeah, enjoy.
Those are really great tips in there for sure. How about you, Josh? Did you have any thoughts on it?
I think it's something about being comfortable and getting out there and doing it as much as possible. You can't find windy days, but when you do get them, don't be afraid to get out there, even if it's for a short ride, just to feel it and handle the bike. I mean, that goes with all bike handling, right? So I'm a little heavier than Fede. I'm more like the 82, 83 kilos, 183 pounds. So I haven't had too many issues with it, but if you do get uncomfortable too, getting off of the aero bars and onto the hoods and things like that, making sure you're comfortable is a huge piece too. So I agree with Fede there. And letting the wind take you, as long as the road dictates the ability to let the wind take you, and the road's wide enough, and you're riding in an area that's safe, by all means, just keep pedaling and keep going and have confidence in yourself. I think the confidence is a big piece too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just kind of mirror the same things like Fede said too. Really, you want to have a handle on your handlebars, but relaxed elbows and arms. So that way, if the wind gives you a little bit of gust, you can definitely control it, but you're not going to overcorrect with jerky motions, which is the tendency if your arms are locked and you're holding on for dear life. You're definitely going to be more at risk for overcorrecting and ending up in the ditch, not because of the wind, but because of the way you pulled the handlebars there. And yeah, like Josh said, just keep getting out there, get used to it. There's no better way to get used to anything in triathlon, like the swim, just repeated exposure to it. And that'll definitely make you a lot more comfortable over time.
Yeah.
Along the same lines, we have a question from Marie. When would you recommend fueling? Example, grabbing water. On an uphill, downhill, flat, anywhere, is one more advantageous than the other? So with that one, what I suggested in the webinar is ideally, if you're going to be coming out of aero position to grab some fuel, water, whatever, on an uphill is definitely the best way to do it, just because you won't lose that aerodynamic advantage there. I would not suggest on the downhill, especially if you're having concerns with bike handling, then you don't want to be messing around with any bottles at the higher speeds in there. But the absolute optimal, my favorite thing is if you have something like a between the arms water bottle, that makes it the easiest to get any fluids or nutrition in. It's basically up, down, anywhere. You just dip your head a little bit and grab that straw and you can take in that fuel that way. But just like we said, with the windy conditions, practice getting your nutrition on the bike. Make sure that you are comfortable doing it. Even practice if you have bottles on the down tube, like practice being down in aero position and drinking. Anything like that, you'll just work on your skills and you'll lose a lot less time, because the more time you spend in aero position, you're going to be significantly faster. And that's just free speed at the end of the day. How about you, Josh? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the course is going to dictate that too, and how much you need it. So ideally, I think the ideal situations, the uphills, because you're not getting many aero gains anyways by coming up. So that would be great. The aero bar or the between the arm bottle is huge. It's something I put on my bike right away and has been a huge help. But knowing how much time you're going to have between those ideal areas is something to look at in your course recon. So if there are stretches where there might not be an uphill, you might want to get some more fuel in on the previous uphill and try and get some fuel in maybe right at the base and have that extra energy before you have to start putting some watts into that uphill climb as well too, because you want to make sure you're capable of going and putting in the speed there and then start to pedal and coast downhill in the aero position. So I think timing and course recon is a big part of when you fuel.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Fede?
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I just wanted to add that don't get too frustrated if you have a plan. Like most people, most triathletes have a plan. Like, okay, every 15 minutes I'm going to take a sip of this, or every 20 minutes, or whatever. Yes, one thing is it's very good to have a plan, and another thing, like Josh and Jenna said, it's what the course is allowing you to do. Like if you don't feel comfortable in taking a sip on a downhill, well, prepare for that and try to feel a little bit earlier. So just be aware of where you are in the course in regards to your plan, and just change it along the way so you are in the best position to execute the best race you can and to feel yourself in a safe and efficient way.
Absolutely. Great advice as always, guys. We will save a few more questions for our next episode. And as always, feel free to send in questions. You can send them through our Instagram at Another Triathlon Podcast, or you can send them directly to me, Jenna-Caer at monaendurance.com. Either way, we will answer those questions for you. Now let's jump into our what the F moment of the week. This one I found entertaining. So we had, and I'm sure we'll talk about the race results, WTCS in Sunderland this weekend.
Yeah.
And there was, I don't know if you guys heard about a last-minute change-up in the mixed team relay. It turns out a bunch of the team from New Zealand got food poisoning the night before. So they had to make some last-minute substitutions, and Hayden Wild had to jump in there. He was not planning on racing because of some unfortunate circumstances there. So I'm sure a few athletes weren't too happy about that, but talk about a terrible start to your mixed team relay or your team event when you're getting all geared up to try out a new team.
That's a tough way to start the weekend for sure.
Just unpleasant all around. And I'd be curious to see how Hayden, he's such a machine. I'm sure it's no problem to back it up and jump into the mixed team relay, but I'm sure they're trying out some younger athletes and giving them a sense of the mixed team relay and playing around with different combinations of athletes. So it's unfortunate that the hotel food was such that they couldn't come out the next day.
It's one thing I've been very lucky. I don't think I've ever gotten food poisoning in my life, so I feel bad for anyone who has, because I've heard some horror stories and
it is
nothing
not
we can really
fun.
do about it.
Yeah, no, and they finished fourth, which is very surprising to see. I mean, coming in last minute, and like you said, Jenna, Hayden is a machine, and he can probably race a month back to back to back to back and still probably finish top 10 in all of those races. But yeah, that's unfortunate. And it just goes to show that you need to be very careful about what you eat. If you're prone to getting sick, or if you travel to a different country, you don't know what type of stuff they cook their meals with. That's why you see a lot of athletes traveling with their own rice cookers and with everything they're familiar with, just to limit these things. And but yeah, I'm like Josh. I could eat probably McDonald's every day and still be able to perform.
Be good to go out and smash it.
Yeah.
and still weigh nothing.
Yeah, true.
Oh, man. Well, let's hope that we have no instance of food poisoning going forward here. But how about our social media post of the week? Josh, what have you seen out there?
So I don't know how I missed this one again, too. I think it was back in like June this posted. Any country music fans probably saw it before we did here in the triathlon world. But Mr. Bobby Bones posted a video on his Instagram, which he posted as the single greatest athletic feat in the history of athletics. And he was at a red light, I believe in Texas somewhere. And the cyclist that was in front of him stayed up, still clipped in the entire time. And this is the longest red light in the history of red lights as well. and if you haven't seen this video, we'll post it in the show notes and share that with you. But it's Mr. Bobby Bones' Instagram account. It's one of his most recent reels and videos. It's got over 1 million views at this point. So this thing's gone all over the place. But man, it's impressive what this guy does. I mean, he's going left, right, left, right, left, right. The balancing act, impressive stuff. Because I think we've all had a few falls and slips at red lights ourselves, and that's after 5 or 6 seconds. Not a good like minute plus on this one. It's unbelievable.
Man, I didn't realize how mediocre my bike handling skills were until one time I was shooting a commercial with an up and coming like Canadian cyclist kind of deal. So this kid, he lives and breathes his whole life as becoming a professional cyclist. And he would just stop in place and hang out there while they're resetting the shot and stuff. It's just not touching around. You just kind of go around. We're going uphill. He just wheelies up the hill and stuff. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my, I don't know how to ride a bicycle. There's a whole difference between you riding a bicycle and me, and I'm a pretty decent cyclist. But yeah, no, it is crazy some of the technical skills they have. Just insane.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Just when you see that type of skill in someone that, I don't know, like the bike is an extension of their body.
Totally.
Oh my God, it's just impressive to see. I mean, I feel proud when I am able to hold that for maybe 10, 15 seconds. But that's, and I have to be unclipped because I don't trust myself that much. But yeah.
Like a true triathlete, I feel you.
He's ready for transition. This guy's ready for another 500 miles practically.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh man, reminds me, I've got 3 days of bike racing coming up this weekend, so I'm sure I will be showing all the bike handling skills and be out of my element a little bit bike racing next weekend. It's fun to feel like a newbie again, but I just realized how incredibly talented and strong some of these women are, and tactics count for everything. So it'll be fun to shake it up there. We'll see.
That competitive edge will come out.
Hopefully. Yeah. It's a 90K road race the first day, a 900-meter hill climb the next day, and then a crit. So I've never done a crit before. That could be interesting.
Touching all aspects.
Yes. And I'm going to be showing up on my gravel bike with 85 mil wheels, 85 mil wheels. So I'm going to look absolutely ridiculous. I'm testing out some race wheels for Kona that I didn't want to stick on my tri bike because it was all set up for the Ironman 70.3. So try them on my gravel bike.
Yeah, why
I
not?
can't blast with a setup like that. It's all going to be a funny look.
You're going to get a lot of funny looks, that's for sure.
Oh, I put it on my Instagram. I took like a little shot of it in one of my reels. And I said, is this awesome or ridiculous? It was like 75% ridiculous by the end. And it was all cyclists. I'm like, crap.
Oh, no.
Shows you who your followers are.
Right? So I'm ready for some interesting comments on the weekend. Let's get back to some more interesting racing here. We had a bunch of racing over the weekend, actually. So, Fede, tell us about it. What happened in the pro racing?
Okay, so we had the first ever WTCS Sunderland. That's in the UK. And we had, obviously, the men's race, the women's race, and the mixed team relays. Starting on the men's race, it was a very fast paced race. It was in a sprint distance, and we had the Frenchman Pierre Lecour taking the win. Then we had another Frenchman, Leo Verger. Now we're starting to see all these French athletes getting a bit more serious and competitive in like A-type races with the Olympic qualification coming up in the next few months. And then New Zealand's Hayden Wild coming in third place. And one thing I wanted to point out is Richard Murray. He finished fifth. He was usually, well, he's from South Africa, but he married Rachel Klammer from the Netherlands, and he is now racing under the Dutch flag. So that's very cool because he lives there. He trains with the Dutch squad, so it's just a nice progression, and I think it's a good addition to the Dutch that Mr. Murray is racing for them now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a few tough years. It sounds like he's kind of on the comeback now, and health is finally getting back to 100%. So it'll be good to see him tearing it up again at the front.
Absolutely. He had a heart surgery in the past few years, and it's just a testament that how consistent hard work and just not giving up can get you. I mean, he's world class right now again. So And he's not the youngest of athletes. Like he's the you see the start list and you see athletes from the late 1990s and early 2000s, and he's the only one like from the 80s. So
Yeah, he's still out there going.
he's still going.
I'll be
Yeah,
honest, watching this race, I thought Hayden Wild took it off the front there, and I thought for sure, okay, it's just going to be a Hayden show here because, he's been dominating so much. But yeah, the Frenchman took it to him and actually came back up and took the win in there. So it was very, very cool to see that racing, but it sounds like he was a little sick leading into it, unfortunately, but made for an interesting race instead of just having him run off the front and dominate.
yeah,
Tricky
absolutely.
to see, but
Over the women's side, we had another French 1-2. We had Cassandra Beaugrand coming in first, Emma Lombardi in second, and Germany's Annika Koch coming in third place. And this was not a super tight race. I mean, Beaugrand was a few seconds over the line when the other athletes came in, but it was just a domination from her, because to put 30 seconds over a sprint distance, it's a lot. So again, the French are getting serious now that the test event is coming up, and we're starting to see the French athletes trying to peak for that race, which I'm sure it's going to be a lot of Olympic dynamics going on for the French Federation, because they are a deep country when it comes to athletes and the quality that they have.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's been interesting. They're like doing it different than most other countries in there. Like they haven't raced the last few races in there. You haven't seen a big French contingent. And now this race, you saw a lot of the big names not racing this weekend because everyone's getting ready for the Paris test event. So they kind of did the opposite and put in a big training block early. And now they're using this as a tune-up before the big event. On the test event. So I'm really curious to see which way goes better in there. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember Alistair Brownlee mentioning something about the pressure of racing in home soil for the London 2012, and that he was on billboards, him and his brother, and he had to deliver in front of his people. And I'm sure all of the French athletes are feeling a bit like that. Well, they want to get selected first, but there's a lot of pressure from within themselves, and a lot of expectations. And we're starting to see now that they are like on a roll, because they also took the win in the mixed team relays. The French won, then we had the Brits, and then the Norwegians, which they were very vocal after the Tokyo Olympics that they wanted to have a competitive team in Paris. And this is the first time that they are actually putting their money where their mouth is. And they beat the Kiwis. Well, of course, they were sick. But they beat the Spanish, the Swiss, the Portuguese, the Americans, the Germans. So it was a strong race. And it's very interesting to see that now the Norwegians are up there also in the mixed team relays and leaving out Gustav Iden for the test event, which is also something very, very controversial in the triathlon world.
And the other piece of that race too is like, aren't people like tactically now taking penalties? Like coming into transitions. There's so many interesting stuff in the mixed team. I mean, the French definitely in the mixed team like put themselves head and shoulders above everyone else. I think it's their race to lose now when it comes to showtime. But we'll see what it comes down to on that. But yeah, I think it was a lot of debate around how to give out the penalties now. You ride your bike through transition and take a penalty because it's not worth the 10-second penalty. I mean, you're making up more time by doing that. So I would imagine that might be a rule change we might be seeing.
Yeah, if you guys were watching there, one athlete was coming in the front and she rode right over the mountain line, or the dismount line, coming off the bike and rode right into transition. And there was a little bit of question around intent. Did she just, was the dismount line sooner than she thought and she just didn't quite notice it? Or was it a case of a 10-second penalty is less time that she'll lose than if she rides over the mountain line and gets to the front and kind of comes off the bike a bit in front, causing the others to chase her? So it's so tricky when you have rules around intent, just like there is some drama like in the swim, just with some combativeness. It's like there needs to be a black and white rule, but things like that are so tough when there's room for interpretation.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, as long as they don't, if the rules don't change, they're gonna keep doing that. So, I don't see. And athletes are gonna keep doing it as long as they can. So, it's another element of racing, and I mean, don't hate the player, hate the game, like they say, right?
Yeah. Oh man, actually, and that's one of the things that's so fun about like the Super League racing and stuff, where there were so many different ways of doing things and ideas, and a few athletes got some big advantages by just going entirely within the rules to the nth degree, like do whatever they can to make up time there. So
again,
it keeps me interested
I'm
for
here
sure.
I'm here in New England. We're used to this stuff, pushing the limits of the rule. Exactly what Bill Belichick and Tom Brady got very well at. There's a lot of rules written now based on what they found in the loopholes.
Oh my God.
Too good. Well, it was some fun racing on that side. What else did we have going on this weekend, Fede?
We had 70.3 main, which we're starting to see a trend now with fast swims, eh? Just Oregon, now Maine. I
think we're starting to write down bucket list races on this show with our swim prowess or lack thereof.
You know where to find us next July.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we need to put together a list of races according to your strengths. Like if you're a strong swimmer, go here. If you're a strong biker, go here. If you're a strong runner, go to this race. That will be good for the audience to have a list of solid races that they can aim for.
So we could do Oregon one week individually and then go to Maine and do it as a relay team or something.
There we go. I'll take the swim on the relay. I can swim on the relay. You guys can bike and run.
15 minutes out and done.
Yeah.
It's my kind of race day.
There you go. But yeah, we had 70.3 main, and we had a bit of drama on this race again. Over the men's side, Trevor Foley, who is, climbing up the ranking on the PTO ranking system. He won the race in 3:33. Then we had Italian Gregory Barnaby coming in second, and Justin Metzler coming in third place. But we had
finishing fourth.
He finished fourth but got third place because Matt Sharp, Canada's pride and joy, and probably the tallest Canadian triathlete.
Probably the tallest triathlete.
Yeah, probably. He got DQ'd because there is a rule that you need to be your trisuit needs to be zipped up, attached at the bottom, and his wasn't, which I think it's a very stupid rule to have. Like, why do they care? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, we had to talk about Zippergate. This is something that's just ridiculous. When you have rules that are sometimes enforced, sometimes not enforced, when they're kind of convoluted, it ruins the racing. Like, these people are trying to make a living off of racing. And Matt Sharp comes across the line with his zipper undone, so they disqualify him. Like, he's a really good, solid athlete, but he probably needed that prize money and those bonuses. He's not like a Lionel Sanders or Jan Frodeno kind of thing. So I think it's absolutely ridiculous. There's so many other pictures of pros not zipped up. And I understand there's a different rule with having the zipper connected at the bottom to being zipped up all the way. But like a female athlete can run in a sports bra and she's fine. And it just, I don't know. If you've raced hard at the end of a race, trying to fiddle with a zipper to get it done up is hard enough. I don't think that should exempt you from getting the earnings and the placings of that performance on that day, because it had nothing. There's no competitive advantage to it.
Yeah.
So
and who decides it? It literally was decided that day on the spot. And I mean, it's tough. I felt for him. I even commented on it as he finished. It's like, oh God, I hope they don't get him for that. And I didn't think they would, because he had it up on his shoulders. It was just unzipped. And I have tri-suits that go both ways. I have tri-suits that have the unlock zip, and I have tri-suits that you can't even unlock. And those are good. So now invest in those tri-suits that don't unlock, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like the mono tri-suit, it just stays zipped at the bottom.
Yep.
See, mine unlocks, and now I had to think about that over this weekend. But I don't know. It's
the consistency too.
There's no
They're
harm.
not calling it on everyone.
Yeah, there's no harm. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's no advantage. There's no harm. It's not a big deal. It just seems silly. One of those rules for the sake of rules. And I'm sure they'll argue something about professionalism and making the sport more professional. But
yeah,
I think what makes the sport more professional is some incredible performances and athletes getting stronger, going faster, and racing each other, not a zipper undone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
This could be an additional WTF for the week too, because we were talking about this before we went on the air. The swim times that we're mentioning here went anywhere from the 14-minute range. So even better, faster than Oregon was last week. There was a huge rainstorm the night before, which added to the current that was already pretty fast in the main river, Kennebunk River. And the slowest time of the entire field, pros and age groupers combined, was 31 minutes. I mean, WTF.
Yeah. Definitely going to that race.
There next year. No time to have a panic attack.
Yeah, no.
Just done.
Get out of the water before
if you
that.
haven't seen videos of the swim start, or it's impressive. Google it, watch it. You're in the water and you're gone. It's like the coolest thing ever. It's an amusement park.
Yeah, it's like a water slide. There you go.
Not a lazy river.
Yeah.
No, that's what they need, a water slide entry into the river.
Oh, that would be so cool.
So, I'm in. You convinced me.
100%.
It was actually a pretty cool entry too. It was like out on a dock, and they each had their own little chute down a ramp. So it was like 1, 2, 3, 4 chutes down there.
That'd be amazing. Oh, I'm just hoping and dreaming.
Yeah.
But it was such a good race to watch too. And I think it was nice to have another 70.3 to watch live and get some of the footage.
Just don't compare it to the Tour de France coverage. And
and it was definitely the B race announcers and things like that. Especially the post interview guy, which they didn't even call him by his name. They're like, let's just go down to the guy doing the interviews. And,
we got the C string over here.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
How'd the women's race go, Fede?
The women's race, we had an Italian, Giorgia Pirarone, coming in first, Amy Zimmerman in second, and Nicole Falcaro coming in third place from the US. And there was no drama on this over the women's side, no on zips or anything. Just a solid race from everyone really. And the winner took it in 4:11, running a 1:23. She came in 5 minutes before the second place. So also she was moving very, very fast. Rode a 2:26 compared to the second place at 2:31. So she was gone on the bike. She won the race on the bike. So good on her, and probably we'll see her in Finland. And she's up and coming. So probably not a super big name, but she's definitely making her ways in.
And her boyfriend was the one that finished second on the men's side too. So quite a day.
Correct.
For that couple.
Correct. Yeah.
The triathlon couple. Hopefully they don't qualify for the Ironman World Championships, because they'll have to go to place across the world.
It was actually one of the best parts of the coverage that I caught too. Was actually they caught the pass from fourth into third, because Nicole was Nicole had a heck of a run to get to her first podium as a pro, and it's been a few years that she's been chasing one. So, and she's from the area, so that was kind of cool to see. And she had a lot of friends and family there, and she went from fourth to third, and they actually got that moment of her tapping the girl on the shoulder, and like both of them camaraderie, and like go get it, like. Fourth place now, knew she was done. She's like, and Nicole was off, and she was like full send mode too, which you're like, she's going to get to the line and hopefully get there. She's still like 5K to go or so, but it was a pretty cool moment, and they caught it on camera, and that was nice to see.
Wicked. Well, did we have any other racing going on this weekend?
Well, we had the Tour de France Femmes come to an end, which now I'm super depressed because there's no more bike racing in a few weeks. But
like a month racing, it's over.
Yeah, it's all gone. Now we have to wait for the Vuelta and the World Championships. But I wanted to share with the audience, especially the female audience, Demi Vollering, the girl who won this year's Tour de France. She's from the Netherlands, and I wanted to share with you some data of the stage when she took the yellow jersey and she won the race. So they climbed the Col du Tourmalet, which is a 17-kilometer climb at a 7.42% average. She rode it in 53 minutes and 42 seconds, and she averaged 5.13 watts per kilo for the whole climb. When she launched her attack, this was in the last 6 kilometers of the race, at an incline of 9% average, the last 6 Ks, and she averaged 5.58 watts per kilo. Can you imagine? I don't think I could even be a domestique on the Tour de France Femmes. These numbers are just mind-blowing.
Not gonna lie, I just pulled up my my calculator to see what that would be, and nope. Not even close.
Don't even talk to me about that. We already talked about my weight, so
Josh will have to be like 700 watts. Yeah.
Man, unreal. It is just so cool to see such strength and crazy impressive performances in the women's field at the Tour de France Femme. It's nice to see that these women are setting such an incredible example and just showing other women that it is possible. There is a place for us in cycling as a sport. And that's traditionally been a sport that has not been the most inclusive. Yeah. So it's nice to see that there's coverage because, you know, if you can see it, then you can definitely dream of it and believe that it's possible. And that makes a massive difference.
100%. And this is the second year that the Tour de France Femmes is been held. And I believe their plan is to have more stages, make it bigger. But it was good because there were a lot of people cheering, and the media coverage was the same as for the men's. You know, it was very cool to see that most of the team directors were females, and all the physios were females. So it's very good to see that because, like you said, Jenna, it's a platform that it just shows women that they are able to dream, and if they want to become a professional cyclist, now there is a path and there's a way, and they can do it if they can push 5.13 watts per kilo of the Tourmalet.
Yeah, and hopefully the sponsorship dollars will continue to grow because there are a lot of women in that peloton who can't make a living out of cyclists. They're on the biggest stage in the world within cycling, and they're out drawing a salary, which is ridiculous. But hopefully this attention and people seeing that people do care about women cycling starts to bring in some of those sponsorship dollars so that we can have true professional women in the sport. Right now, it's a very select few that can actually do it for a living. And it should be a case where the top performers in the world on a global stage can make a living doing something like putting out 5+ watts per kilo of the Tourmalet.
There you go.
That should guarantee
it's got to learn from like swimming. I mean, look how much of a co-ed sport that is and always has been. And why can't these other sports be? And I mean, speaking of swimming, some of the world championship performances this last week or so have been ridiculous. I mean, Katie Ledecky and what she did. And now this guy from France, like making Michael Phelps' world record line look like it wasn't even in the pool. It's like, how was that ever possible? We thought that was going to stand forever. And those are the lessons you got to learn. I mean, there's so many sports now that have started to balance or have been balanced for so long. It's like, why is it not there yet in cycling?
And it's so frustrating. So I'm doing some UCI sanctioned races this weekend, and I asked them, like, why are the women's races shorter? Because to be perfectly honest, the longer the race, the better I'm going to do. So I'm training for Ironman. So, but it's actually a rule that they're not allowed to put on women's events at the same distance as the men's. That is
Really?
rule. They're not allowed to. I'm like, how backwards and short-sighted is that? That it's not, we want to, it's, no, we're not allowed to. Like,
Oh
I
my
thought we were
God.
past it when we found out women's uteruses won't fall out during a marathon. Like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy to me. And I work a lot in the cycling realm now, putting on races and starting to do more bike races. And it's still shocking, the disparity within the cycling world. And it's not even that the race organizers want to do it. It's that the global federation is saying, no.
Yeah, it's
Like,
UCI.
yeah.
I mean, the
Sorry,
UCI has a very bad rap for very, archaic thinking when it comes to bike tech and everything. So it doesn't surprise me a bit. But yeah, it's just that needs to change. I mean, talk about stupid rules with the steeper. This is another one. I mean,
absolutely.
Well, if anyone had, changing the subject a little bit, but you're talking about a race in Canada. The other news that came out is that Ironman, with their VinFast sponsorship, can no longer go forward with some of these big Canadian IM races because Subaru is the main sponsor. So if you ever wanted to do Mont Tremblant, it sounds like you've lost your opportunity.
Yeah, it's such a shame. It really, really is. Subaru has been such a great partner and sponsor for Canadian triathlon on the Ironman side. So actually, I do some social media work for Ironman Calgary 70.3 here, and accidentally put up a post with the Subaru logo on the swimsuit. They were not happy. But it's unfortunate because it is, triathlon in Canada is definitely growing, but it's not nearly as big as the US. So there's not a ton of big dollar sponsors that are willing to put money into it. So I know a lot of the triathlons are struggling. Like in Canada right now, we have Victoria 70.3, Calgary 70.3, Mont Tremblant, and then Ironman Canada, Ironman Mont Tremblant. Like it's not, that's for the whole country.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate to see one die off. So we'll just have one Ironman distance event in Canada. And I know a few others are kind of at risk near the chopping block kind of thing too, which is, it really sucks for Canadian triathlon development and just having options to race here at home. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like all the applications are in for the next Ironman CEO. So we'll see how that turns out.
Yeah, I heard that. I'm really curious to see what direction they go with that, whether they go more athlete experience or if they go more business experience or just bring someone totally new to the sport who has that business background, which I think might be the best option if you have someone who's maybe had some kind of athletic experience or does it for fun or it's some sense of athletics, but you need someone who really has that business background to understand the model and be able to make decisions that make sense for the company long term, because Ironman's looking like it's in trouble. Like it's, the registration numbers are definitely down.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, I wonder if Challenge will take this opportunity in Canada and they take all those races and rebrand them as Challenge races. It'll be interesting to see if they want to move down that avenue.
I don't think so. They tried coming to Canada and failed. So I don't think they're too eager to do it again. They took over Penticton once Ironman moved to Whistler for a while. Challenge came in and tried to do Penticton, and it just didn't have the draw because people want to do Ironman to have that brand in there, which is unfortunate. They were just around. Challenge was just around for a couple of years before they left. So it's, I don't know. We need something to come up here so that we can have more racing in Canada. It's fun to do all the grassroots races, but at the same time, it is a cool experience to be a part of some of the bigger ones as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's jump into a big race that is going to be an absolutely massive race this weekend with US Nationals as well as the PTO US Open. There is going to be some pretty crazy racing this weekend, and I know we talked about some of our favorites the other week, but first we have to update. There are a few athletes out and a few athletes in here. So shout out to Pro Tri News. They definitely put out a lot of great information out there, and I have been stalking their Instagram because they have rumors and confirmations on athletes who are out, because you won't see PTO putting it out there. They just kind of quietly remove them from the start list. So let's see who we have here. So check out Pro Tri News. As per multiple sources, we've got Martin Van Riel is out. We have Alistair Brownlee is out, which I don't think too many people were surprised to hear about, but it's just super unfortunate that he won't be racing there. We have Chelsea Sodaro. She is out. We have Laura Phillip out as well. We have Ruth Assel, Rachel McBride are all out.
Yeah.
But who we have jumping in is Matthew Marquardt.
Yep.
Sam Appleton, Josh Amberger, Georgia Pierron, Lauren Brandon are in. So we got a couple substitutions there. And then, as we know, we had some wild cards throwing in like Jan Frodeno. So it is still going to be a very interesting race. I know a few races this year, it's been a case of you get so excited for the start list, and then everyone drops off and you're like, oh, it's still okay, whatever. We still have some games on here.
But this is like an all-star game, so no matter what, it's going to get filled.
Yeah.
So
True.
No, definitely. Should be a good weekend. And it'll be fun too, because there'll actually be some crowds around. And that makes such a difference just from watching the races perspective, from racing the races perspective. If you got US Nationals going on, there's going to be thousands of athletes. The place will be taken over by triathlon and triathletes, which makes it just so much more fun to watch and be a part of.
And if they're not there already, they're showing up already. I mean, they're starting to show up already, and some of them have been there. I mean, what an awesome experience that's going to be this whole week. I mean, some of these races start in the middle of the week and things like that. So what a week and weekend it's going to be.
Love it. Well, let's start off with the women here. I'll read you out some of the top rankings, but there are so many here. We got Ash Gentle, Anne Haug, Lucy Charles Barclay, Daniela Reif, Paula Finley, Emma Pallant-Brown, Holly Lawrence, Tamara Jewett, Vanilla Langridge, India Lee. We've got a few in here. So trying to rotate who we start with every time, because you kind of get the advantage when you're there first.
I think it's your turn, Jenna.
Yeah, it's your turn now. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't think so. Okay. So I'm going to go with Ashley Gentle. She has dominated this PTO distance in here. She's come in and absolutely smashed it, although it's really hard to pass up at Daniela Reif, who just shows us if you doubt her for a second, she's going to come destroy everyone. But I'll go Ash Gentle for this one. How about you, Fede? Who do you got?
Well, I was going to pick Ashley, but now that I can't, I'm going to go with, you know what? I'm going to go with Taylor Niv. I think she's learned from last year's PTO US Open when Ashley passed her in the last kilometer. So I think right now she's going to be able to hold on. So I'm going to go Taylor Niv.
Now, I don't see her on the list I have, so I don't know if she's still on that start, unless might have outdated information.
I don't know. I mean, well, if she's not on the if she's not on the star list, then that's my loss. But yeah.
Okay, backing her all the way. I like it.
Yeah.
Josh, who do you got here?
Well, we're gonna say that he defaults to Daniela Reif, and I'm gonna take Paula Finley. I think again. I love some of the pros and sharing their training and all that. And I think she's been in a pretty hardcore training mode recently and just said she came out pretty healthy. So if it can't be Daniela, which I'd love to pick, but I want to go with somebody who might not be Daniela. So let's go with Paula Finley. Her and Ellie Salthouse have been training together. So it'd be interesting to see how the two of them both do.
Yeah, and Paula's getting ready for the time trial world champs there. So she's going to go fast on the bike. he will destroy everyone on the bike and hopefully run it down from there. Okay, let's jump into the men's side here. We have got, wait, am I looking? Okay, it is a start list. We got Christian Blumenfeld, Magnus Dietlev, Max Newman, Ben Knut, Daniel Backegaard, Leon Chevalier, Aaron Royal, Florian Angert, Frederic Funk, Peter Heimrich, Jason West, Jan Frodeno, Christian Haugenhaug. Oh, Alistair's out. Yeah, so that's the top 20. There are just so many
And Sam,
names.
his wife doesn't have a baby in the meantime.
Yeah, there's that too. Don't even make it to him. Like, it is absolutely crazy here, some of the names on there. Let's see. It's a tough one there.
Very.
That is really hard. I'm gonna go Magnus. I think he's gonna be ready to fire and go for it. It'd be fun to see him watch there, but I would love to see like a big showdown with like Magnus and Blumenfeld and Jan Frodeno. Like they all have their different strengths in different ways, so they'll all be like close-ish, but I just want to see a chase to the very end and a sprint finish. But a girl can dream.
I mean, do we know who the course favors? Like, is there a certain aspect of this course that we should know about? I mean,
let's see.
It's not as flat as it was in Ibiza and as it was, last year in Dallas. There's a bit more undulation. However, it's not super hilly. But
it doesn't look like it's too technical either. It's kind of, I guess 7 laps.
And last year we had a sprint finish, so let's just hope for that again.
I wonder what the heat's looking like out there. That's where it always gets interesting. Yeah, I guess a fair bit of turn or 180s if you're looking at those 7 laps of an out and back course the whole way.
Yep.
Actually, so what the race is? What, Friday or Saturday?
Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, so 75 and 76 as the highs Fahrenheit. So actually pretty decent.
Yeah, but that's what my race said.
Yeah, nowadays you can't trust that.
Hold on. Let's redo. 76, 77 for the week.
Some moderate temperatures in there. And with a bike course like that, it's going to be a little hard to get a rhythm if you're U-turning all the time, but be interesting. You'll still be able to put down some solid power in a straight line with that out and back and out back.
Yeah.
Okay, how about you, Fede? Who do you got for the win on the men's side?
It's a tough one, like you said. And right now that we have the addition of Josh Amberger, he is an uber swimmer, and we have people on the start line like Braden Curry and Frederic Funk, and of course Jan Frodeno, who I think they are going to be willing to push the pace on the swim and make the gap to Christian too big that he's not going to be able to catch up. And Ben Knut, also a great swimmer. Yeah. So I predict this race is going to be a very fast swim, and the group that gets out of the water is going to stay away, and the winner is going to come from that group. So I think experience is going to get it this time, and I'm going to go with Jan for the win.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems to be racing into form here, each time getting a little bit better. It's hard not to pick Jan in any situation, but it'll be interesting to see. I think you're right, though, about them really going in with the tactic of pushing that swim hard, putting everyone else on the back foot. That would definitely mix up the race. And Josh Amberger does make a fairly significant difference in how any race plays out, having that power up at the front.
Absolutely.
How about you, Josh? Who do you got?
Well, I mean, the big guys are gone, that's for sure. And Christian still. So the other one, I mean, who we just interviewed last week too, Mark Dubrick. I mean, talk about another one up on the swim. I mean, there's some swimmers here, and that lead group's going to be interesting. Now, Mark, we know can't cycle with these guys yet. I think that's his biggest downfall right now is the area that he's working on the most. But man, you get a whole bunch of swimmers out there. So I think if Ben Knut can stay with him after what he did at Challenge Roth, and hey, let me throw an outsider and throw another great American who's doing really well this year at the top. So let's see what Knut can do.
Absolutely love it. The racing is going to be so good. I can't wait to watch it go down here. I will absolutely be tuning in, and I'm guessing you guys will too, because it's just fun to see those big names go head to head and really mix it up here.
Yeah, it's so fun. It always fires me up to see the big boys and girls duking it out. I usually leave the race for a hard workout on the bike or on the run on the treadmill.
Yeah.
So, or a long break. I think that's what I'm going to be doing on the weekend.
Yeah, it makes it so much easier when you see how much they're suffering. It's like, okay, whatever I'm doing right now is not as hard as what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
Or it's the opposite. You look like, why aren't they suffering?
Some of those run forms, we look pretty effortless, I will say. Speaking of going hard out there, we've got someone who is no stranger to pushing the limits in racing and on the bicycle. Let's jump into our interview with Frederic Funk. Stay tuned. Today, we are so excited to be chatting with someone who's definitely no stranger to the world of triathlon, a man who's not only a formidable competitor, but also an inspiration to athletes around the globe. Coming from Germany, he's a powerhouse across all three disciplines and a force to be reckoned with, and he's definitely known for his tenacity, dedication, and strategic race execution. He demonstrates what it means to be a top-tier athlete in the sport, so we wanted to get some of his thoughts on his racing, training, and his journey in the sport so far. So, thrilled to announce we're going to have the phenomenal Frederic Funk on, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Fede. So, welcome to Another Triathlon Podcast. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks a lot for that introduction, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, you know what? It's so fun. We want to bring some of these interviews for pro athletes to our audience just because it's a whole different world when you're talking pro training and racing compared to the age group or lifestyle. So it's kind of fun to get some of those different perspectives. But let's start with kind of what got you started in triathlon. How did you jump into this crazy sport?
Well, I basically got born into the sport. Both of my parents are already doing it since over 30 years. And I did my first triathlon when I was only 5 years old. And from there, the journey kind of started, and did a lot of racing when I was a kid, but never really like serious training or anything. Was more focused on playing football. In Germany, that's the more important sport as a kid. And later on, I got called into the regional squad from my results, with like barely any training, and kind of motivated me to give it a go. That was when I was 13, 14 years old. And from there I took it a bit more professional, had some good years on a short distance over my junior years, and 2 or 3 years after that in under 23, but then eventually decided to give lawn drafting a go, because I was always a pretty good cyclist and never could really play out my bike strength on the drafting races. And from the non-drafting races, it was just way more fun for me from the beginning, because I had more success, and it just keeps you motivated a lot more than just getting 10th in a continental cup, even if it's like a good result. And then I did my first half distance in 2018, and also ended up on the podium right away. And from there, like the career on the half distance and non-drafting just got going. And now I'm here 5 years later with a lot of good results, I would say, in my backpack.
That's wonderful. Yeah, it's definitely fun to hear a little bit more about that journey. Now, was there a specific race or event where you just kind of said, you know what, I made it. I feel like I'm a professional athlete at this point. Was there one race that really stood out that way?
I wouldn't say it was a race. Maybe it was after my first year on the half distance, 2018, where I got pretty good results on the half distance. And then obviously I got my first big sponsor contracts, and I actually started to earn money with the sport. And I think that's the point. Yeah, just like really being able to earn my living with the sport, was the point, I'd say, where I thought, probably now I'm kind of a real professional.
Got you, yeah. And you're definitely known for being strong across all three disciplines. Now, we want to know, do you have a favorite of the three, or is it just a case of you like them all, so you're pretty good at each of them?
I mean, I'd say cycling is still my favorite, not only in terms of training, because you really get to explore the world everywhere, but also like in racing, because it's definitely my strength. It's not a secret, and obviously it's a bit more fun. So yeah, I would say cycling is my favorite.
I think the two of us here
Yeah,
would agree.
yeah, 100%. And I wanted to jump in and ask Fred, first off, what position did you play as a kid playing football? And do you have a favorite football team in Germany?
I was playing on the left side, in the middle.
Okay.
So I was always the guy who was running the most, like back and forth, and like shooting the ball for the attackers.
Nice, nice.
And, and yeah, my favorite soccer team was the FC Nürnberg.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but it's like it runs in the family.
Yeah. My
You,
my best friend, he's German and he's from Bochum, and we always go see the
oh
Dortmund.
yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
But I wanted to comment on something. We were stalking you a bit on the gram, and we we found a picture from you in 2018. You were on a different time trial bike, obviously a disc
Yeah.
wheel and everything. I think it was in Ingolstadt. And I would just wanted to talk to you about your progression on the aero position and everything you've learned throughout the years. How the Fred back then, what did he think about being aero and bike, and now, because you are one of the most aero guys out there, and you are like on top of your game when it comes to equipment and aerodynamics and everything.
So yeah, the bike in 2018, it was a Felt, and it was from my dad. So it wasn't mine. And
No.
yeah, my dad was always like, was never really like into this like, I mean, yeah, he was into aerodynamics, but not really caring about comfort or anything like that. So it was more like uh, getting as low as possible at the front, and just take the saddle or to the front as much as possible. So getting this really, really aggressive position. Obviously, throughout the years, we've learned that this doesn't mean it's the most aerodynamic position, and yeah, it's also like things that you need to close, like the hole between your arms and your head at the front, and you don't necessarily go higher with your head just because you go higher with your aero bars at the front, and also more like important to have like a flattish back, and of course the comfort should be number one priority, because no aero position is as good if you can't keep it. If you need to
Mhm.
ride at the base bars, and all the aero position is for nothing. So yeah, the most important thing is like that you are able to keep it. And there, I was always a bit lucky, I would say, or I am lucky that I'm, yeah, I would say quite stretchable in my back and in my hip flexors, so I can ride still pretty aggressive position while being still pretty comfortable. That's also like, for example, like everyone is going to shorter cranks, but I'm actually still riding a 172.5 millimeter crank.
Oh,
Hmm.
really?
So yeah, so I can. It's of course, you need to be able to ride it, but yeah, if you can ride it, you are able to produce more power with a longer crank, and yeah, and then just the aerodynamic position is just like a yeah, it never stops. You never find the ultimate position which you can ride for years. So you kind of have to work on it all the time. Of course, right now I also have uh, the best sponsors in the game helping me with that, in terms of equipment, but also in terms of aero testing and everything. Like next week, for example, after the race here in the US, I'll be on the track again, do some aero testing, and maybe even we will see if we even change something in the end at my position or anything. But I definitely learned a lot there over the years. Did a lot of testing also by myself. Like anytime I'm getting like new equipment before I go into the wind tunnel or on the track, I just test it by myself. And like I have my testing criteria, where it's like, first of all, it has to be comfortable. Like, for example, if it's like a helmet, it needs to fit nice on the head, that I can still move my head nicely and keep the position well with the new helmet, or if it's a race suit. And then I also have like some sections or segments at home where I'm just riding a few times out and back with sometimes different equipment and just checking my power to speed ratio. That's also one thing I really watch on every ride. I never really, when I go with the time trial bike, I never only watch how much power I produce. For me, it's always important to get the most, like as much speed as possible out of the power I produce. So sometimes when I'm having like a loop which is pretty slow, I sometimes get worried about my aerodynamics because I was riding really slow for the power, but obviously it was because of traffic lights, or it was really hilly or something, or really technical. So of course there are like some things you always have to play into account there, but it's definitely one thing that I really try to watch, the speed as a main part and not the power, and from there learn a lot about the aerodynamics or the material I'm using.
Awesome. And when it comes to those aerodynamics, kind of what's your favorite method to do some of that testing? Do you prefer the wind tunnel? Do you prefer the track? What do you find is the, I guess, most real world or best result for you?
So I think the track and the wind tunnel, it's like two more or less different things. Like the good thing with the wind tunnel is you can really test marginal gains, like things which are within 1 or 2 watts, that you can't really test on the track because you always got some kind of quota which is like around 1 to 2 watts, where because not every like round you're keeping the exact same position and everything. But the good thing on the track is that you're really riding like you would ride outside. So you're looking to the front, because in the wind tunnel you're often like looking between your arms, and it doesn't really recreate the position you would ride in a race outside on the road, because you can't just look between your arms the whole time. You obviously have to look in the front. That's the good thing. That's a good thing on a track, that you really ride like you would ride outside. So it's a bit better, and it's good. I think the track is better if you are testing like the big stuff, like material like wheels, suit, helmet, or also position sometimes. But if you're, for example, wanting to check the difference between a 1x and 2x gear setup, probably you won't be able to see the difference on the track, and for that you need to go in the wind tunnel. But I also prefer the track because when I'm on the track, it's a few hours and 15 to 20 times 3K rounds, and I have to push race power. So in the end, I also have a really good session in that day. While in the wind tunnel, you're basically just empty pedaling, and you don't have a good session, but still it takes away the whole day. So and it's also easier and cheaper for my sponsors to go on the track as well.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say, it's kind of funny. We've seen how it goes. If you try to do all the wind tunnel testing with someone like Joe Skipper had his pretty crazy looking setup with the dual bottles and stuff, which tested super fast in the wind tunnel, but then ended up going off course on race
Yeah.
day. So it's definitely important to be in the position you're going to be looking in race day and make sure you go the right direction there. No, that's fantastic. Fede, did you have some more questions here for Frederic?
Yeah, so that's very refreshing to hear, Fred, and that you're looking at speed and not chasing power numbers, because oftentimes, speaking from the on the age group side, we often get carried away chasing a certain power number, and we throw speed out of the window because we tend to believe that a higher power is relatable to higher speeds, and oftentimes it is. But the best thing of long distance triathlon is being efficient and being as fast as possible with the minimum power required. And I think you are in the forefront of that. So yeah, kudos to you, and congrats for being a smart guy and not a macho that's always bragging about how hard he can push the cranks. Uh, Looking at your setup, did you change anything for this particular race in Milwaukee compared to your last couple of races?
So I was planning to finally get my one by onto the bike, because it's obviously a flat course just out the back. So yeah, would be pretty convenient. But I was in H2 training camp, and then just I mean, I had some issues getting the one by onto my bike earlier, because I just didn't have the right bottom bracket. And yeah, then when I came back, I was only like in at home for 2 days, and I didn't really want to risk changing it
Yeah.
just before the travel. I really so for the 70.3 Worlds, which is in 3 weeks, I will definitely ride the one by, because then I will also have tried it in training and everything, that everything works properly. But yeah, I didn't want to take the risk now. So yeah, in the end, didn't change anything. And just riding my usual setup, which I had this year.
So that brings up, we've been bearing the lead a little bit, but you're going to be racing at the PTO US Open in Milwaukee this weekend, which is absolutely a massive race coming up that everyone's excited to watch. And it'll be fun to have all the energy there of so many age groupers doing the national champions too. So there should actually be crowds and energy and some legit competition. How are you feeling in race week?
Pretty good, actually. To be honest, beginning of the year, I wasn't too excited about the US Open. I gotta be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the US. Just like and because of the training conditions here, always around, and it's again like a race in a big city. So it's tough to kind of get yeah, training in before the race. But I'm actually positively surprised now that I'm here from Milwaukee. I kind of really like the city and the vibe which goes around here. And training is actually fine as well. And so yeah, no, I'm kind of getting hyped for the race also. It's always important for me really that I feel well in my surrounding, so I can race well. And yeah, that's definitely the case here. And yeah, I had really good training for the last few months, and also my last race at Challenge YC where I won gives me a lot of confidence.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
on the bike, of course, but also that my run is really progressing as well. And yeah, had a good altitude camp now in the venue in Italy as well. And yeah, pretty good sessions, and shape is definitely good. So I hope I don't have any mechanicals or anything, and then I think it will be a really good race.
Yeah, you've definitely been moving up those PTO rankings too and had some great results recently. Have you found that comes with any, I guess, extra pressure or kind of media work as you're heading into races like this? And how does it affect you?
You mean the PTO ranking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of try to not pressure myself from this ranking, and I also try to not race races because or for the reason I need these points now, so I get into the top 10 or anything. So I really just try to not focus on that. Of course, I'm happy to see when I'm good in the ranking, but I also don't really care when I'm like sliding down in the rankings, because it's obviously changing now weekly. I'm happy now that there's a ranking system which is more fair compared to the one in the last years. So that's one thing which sometimes still stressed me out in the last years, that it was I find really unfair. Like for example, I finished 21st in the ranking end of last year with the old ranking system, and then when they applied the new ranking system for the results in the last year, I was ninth. So I got basically 12 positions better just by changing the ranking system. So that just shows that it was definitely an unfair ranking for athletes like me, focusing on the middle distance, because it was really preferring the long distance athletes. But yeah, I'm happy now that this is figured out, and I'm hoping I have a good ranking at the end of the year. But if not, it is what it is. And right now, the ranking is mostly important to get into the PTO races, of course.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to. I definitely want to stay in that top 20 or at least top 30. But I think if I have now a good race on the weekend and then at St. World, hopefully, then this shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, talking about race day this weekend, when you're going to a race, do you kind of think about how it might play out or think about tactics beforehand, or do you just kind of go in and take the day as it comes to you?
So yeah, like the 100K distance is more or less like an all-out effort from beginning until the end. So there's not so much room for tactics, but I mean, of course, I know the strength and weaknesses from my competitors, and on race day, of course, I know which athletes I have to look out for, or obviously when there's Magnus Ditlev, let's say passing me on the bike, I know that I have to keep his wheel, and I will end up at the front of the race. And
that tends to be how it plays out.
things like that. So of course it's important to know the competitors, but in the end you never know who has actually like a good day or a bad day, and you have to see in the race and find yourself in the race. But still, it's like all out racing, just from beginning until the end.
Now, you don't have to answer, but are there any athletes specifically that you're kind of really targeting or going to be keeping an eye on race day? Like you said, Magnus. Are there any other ones that you're looking to key off of?
So not really, actually. I mean, it's my last chance to race against Jan Frodeno, the GOAT.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the only two times I raced against him, I had probably two of my worst races of my career. So my goal is kind of to break that curse, and maybe just be on the race course, really trying to race against him. I think it's like, because it's my last chance, it's really like it's my biggest idol. I really wish maybe like to battle a bit with him on the race course. Never mind who of us ends up in front of the other, but that's like one of my wishes for the race on Friday.
Yeah, and if listeners don't know, Jan Frodeno just announced that he's going to be retiring at the end of this year. So he's basically got PTO Open and World Championships in Nice, and then he is calling it a career, and it has been an absolutely incredible and inspiring one. So kudos to him, but it'll be interesting to see how these next couple of races go.
Yeah, it'll definitely going to be an interesting one to watch, and I'm sure you're going to be up there in front, pushing the pace with the boys. I wanted to touch just two things before I know you have a busy schedule and before we let you go. The first thing is a bit of a question for myself. I live in altitude in Mexico City at 2,300 meters. So I just
Oh
wanted
wow.
to ask you, when you come up from an altitude camp, how do you manage the coming down to sea level? Because oftentimes when I go to races, it's either a hit or a miss. I tend to perform best if I have the luxury of coming down, like say, with a week's time. But if I'm coming down like 3 4 days before the race, I usually I feel super flat. I'm very very weird. Do you have any advice like to people that live in altitude and then come down to sea level?
So yeah, I think the most important thing is to really find it out for everyone individually, because I don't think it's the same for everybody. Like there are people coming off altitude and racing straight away and really performing straight off altitude. And like for me, for example, I most of the times it didn't work out for me. Like if I'm racing straight off altitude. I mean, we tried it only one time with a race, but of course we're always trying with like sessions just to see how the body reacts for the altitude. And but the funny thing is, like for Ibiza, it was the first time that I was going really well, like right after altitude. But then when that was actually the race 1 week later, it wasn't good. And but now what seems like to be the case now again, and that's like how I usually respond to attitude, that like the day straight off, I'm pretty tired.
Yeah.
And I'm also tracking with the Aura ring. I can also see my HRV and resting heart rate. They're both like not the best straight off altitude, and then just like slowly progressing day by day. And I usually have my first peak like 1 week after altitude, and then I often have like another peak like 3 or 4 weeks after altitude. And that's like 3 or 4 weeks is more, it's like the safe option, I would say, for everyone. So if anyone is living or training in altitude, like if you want to go really safe, just go down of altitude like 3 weeks, 3 4 weeks before the race. It's also good because then you can still get like a training block in on sea level, because training a lot in altitude, especially living in altitude, I mean, you're obviously you can never perform the same well as on sea level. It will never be 100% the same performance, even if you're acclimatized. Um, so yeah, it's good to just, when you're on sea level, to get some of the speed in. You're losing on altitude, like this high end power or high end
Yeah.
speed on the run and on the swim. Like for me, for example, like my threshold power and altitude, if it's like around 2,000 meter, is like almost 10% lower than on sea level. So I'm also reacting, yeah, pretty hard for altitude. I know other athletes who are almost riding the same threshold, like on sea level. So it's also an individual thing. So yeah, just like the advice is to really not really look what others are doing, more like really find out for everyone, for themselves, how it works the best, and then just experimenting, trying around, and then yeah, sticking to what works best.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I'm like you. Like my threshold is like 10% lower here. Even I was born here, and yeah, especially
Mm-hmm.
doing the high end stuff, the VO2 work, I can't really get the physiological strain that I need doing that type of work. But yeah, no, that's awesome, and thank you for your answer. And the other question I wanted to ask you is, you are a very open athlete, and so thank you for that. Everything you share, your numbers, and you're a very down to earth guy. I think we need more people like you in the sport, in terms of validating it and being open. So my question is, what went through your mind of doing this way? Being open and honest with your numbers and everything. Has it always been like that, or why do you do it?
So yeah, I think I started publishing on everything on Strava in like 2015 or something, and I was just like more for myself. It was just another training platform, kind of analyzing my training and comparing myself with others in the King of the Mountains and segments. And yeah, by publishing my training, I was never really thinking about like hiding anything, like hiding my power or anything like that. And yeah, just when I got more and more known athletes, I saw that how much people liked it, that I really publish everything and show my power and heart rate, and then I like really got a lot of positive feedback for it. And I also personally always found it really interesting when my idols, other pro athletes, were really transparent about themselves, and I kind of wanted to be the same way, like how I would like to be other athletes to be. And so yeah, that it kind of became my claim to fame. I would say, just being such a transparent athlete, and I really built a big community through that. And from that, I got a lot of sponsors, and yeah, the sponsors really liked it as well. And then that's also how I kind of earned then my money in the sport. And so yeah, it's now kind of my thing to be so transparent, and I don't have any problem with it at all. Like I don't even really understand why you would need to hide your power. Like obviously people could copy it or anything, but I mean every training works different for everybody. So yeah, and then people would still never really see if I'm fit or not, because anyway, how I would perform in a race is just completely different to what I do in training. So yeah, there's no reason for me to hide anything, and I'm happy to share everything. And yeah, like you said, also the people really like it, and so then I'm really happy for that. That it's yeah, that the people love it, and the sponsors as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been having some fun this last little while talking about some of the Tour de France power numbers and stuff. So we all like to geek out on the numbers and see kind of how we compare and line up in there. So it's fun to see that openness and just kind of see what people can do at the top level. But we're going to jump in. We've just got a couple quick hit, quick fire questions for you here. Kind of silly, nothing too serious, just something to have some fun with it. So first question here, what is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten during a race or training, maybe a long bike ride where you're just desperate for something to eat? Have you had any fun things there?
I wouldn't really be that kind of guy who is eating a weird thing during training or racing, because that's really the things where I'm looking just to eat always the same and have my routines there, just to not get any issues with my stomach or anything. But I have to think. It's not weird, but I would think like the weirdest thing I can think of, I sometimes get on a long ride at like a petrol station. It's just like a can of Pringles.
Oh, yummy. Yeah, salty.
It's not weird, of course, but yeah, that's like probably the only thing other than like this usual sports nutrition.
It's nice to switch it up from the gels for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, so if you had to race a triathlon as a pair with another pro, who would be the most fun to be out there on the course with you?
That's a tough question. Maybe with yeah, like one of my idols as well. Definitely would love to do it with Lionel Sanders.
Yeah, just have a suffer fest the whole way.
Yeah.
Nobody would catch them on the bike. They would be like
Ew.
a day ahead.
I would have to wait him on the swim though.
Yeah.
That's true.
Although from your recent post, you should have gone with like David McNamee. He'll bring all the bagels, so you guys will be fueled the entire time, ready to go. Okay. If triathlon had a fourth discipline, what would be the most bizarre activity you'd add that would give you a bit of an edge over your competitors?
Oh, definitely cross-country skiing.
Yeah, that would be an interesting for sure.
I did it a lot I grew up like in the Alps, so we had a lot of snow. So I did it a lot as a kid. So I would say I'm pretty good at it. So yeah, if we'd add that, I think I would have an edge of a lot of pros.
You need to get into one of those like winter triathlons where do a pool swim, go to a fat bike, and then cross country ski. Kind of set it up that way.
Yeah, I did the nationals and winter triathlon once where I won as a junior.
Yeah. I'm up in Canada, so it gets pretty cold out here. So just does not appeal to me whatsoever. Minus 40. What is your guilty pleasure song that gets you pumped up during either training or racing? What's that song that really gets you fired up to go?
It's not really a song which gets you fired up, but like one of my guilty pleasure songs, it's like from Nelly Furtado, or All Good Things Come to an End.
Oh, that's a good one.
I love that one.
Oh, I like that a lot.
It's good before the race as well to get a bit to calm down a bit.
Just kind of get you in the zone and ready to go.
Yeah.
Love it. And then just last question here, what piece of advice would you get, or what piece of advice have you been given over the years that really just resonates with you, that stuck with you?
To stay patient, like actually in terms of everything, like just training, it just doesn't come as fast as you want it to be, and if you just like stick with it and stay patient and believe in yourself, eventually it will come around. Yeah, it always worked for me like that, and it's definitely an advice I like to keep giving on.
Yeah, wise words for sure. Well, other than that, how can people follow you along? Maybe your Instagram, where are you most active on social media?
Yeah, I'm mostly active on Instagram, Frederic Funk 97, and on Strava, of course, where I publish everything. I need to get my YouTube going once again. I definitely have quite a few videos up there if anyone wants to see that, and that's like my main platforms.
Perfect. Well, we're all going to be cheering you on this weekend. We can't wait to go see you smash it at the PTO US Open, and we look forward to seeing how you go. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with us and giving us a little bit of insight.
Yeah, thanks so much, man,
for the podcast. It was fun. Thank you very much.
As always, so good to chat with you guys. Go give us a follow on Instagram at Another Triathlon Podcast. And I know I sound like all the other podcasts out here, but if you could leave us a rating and review on wherever you're listening to the podcast, it definitely helps us get discovered by other listeners so that we can bring you some more fun, interesting stuff. We're working on having a lot more pro interviews coming up. We're talking to some big names that I cannot wait to announce in here. We're going to have some fun stuff going forward. So definitely leave us that rating, leave us that review, tell a friend about it, and we will keep growing, keep answering your questions, and keep bringing on some fun stuff here. Have a great night, guys, and we will chat with you next week.
All right. Happy
See you later, guys.